thank you for tuning in for another episode of Data with Bill, featuring Bill Su, obviously the founder of Humalytics, which is myself. And today we have with us Dylan Kim, who is the founder of Brevity, which is a backpack company based in Providence. And one thing that is very fascinating about Dylan's company is that it is built completely on social media. So they got all the audience and traffic from social media, and they actually achieved great success with it. The reason actually we're having this session today is because I was going over Google Analytics with Dylan about Brevity's Google Analytics account. I realized that a large amount of traffic actually from social media, and those traffic are actually very high quality traffic, which is the first time I've seen after seeing, I would say, like over 20 Google Analytics accounts from various companies, which is extremely impressive. So that's why I invited Dylan today to talk about his success in getting traffic to social media for Brevity, and to share some tips for the audience who, to my understanding, a lot of people are asking how to become successful on social media. And here, Dylan can tell you a lot of good tips about it. Before we begin, I'll give a shout out to our sponsor, Humalytics. At Humalytics, we build AI-based tools that makes tools like Google Analytics easier to understand, so you can extract insight directly from it without going through any hard analytics as you're doing right now. Our tool is actually live for beta testing now. And Dylan, you actually beta tested for us a couple of days ago. Really appreciate that. So if you're interested in testing out a tool for us and give us some feedback, please feel free to reach out to me at bill@humalytics.co. That is bill@humalytics.co. Thank you guys so much. So now let's get to the topic. So Dylan, thank you for coming today.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Awesome. So why don't we just begin the session by you talking, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So about 2 years ago, I co-founded Brevity with my two brothers. We're currently based in Providence, and we launched with just one backpack on Kickstarter, and it had a removable insert for your camera equipment. Since we have expanded to 3 bags with the insert interchangeable between all 3, and then as we progress, we're looking to get into more commuter and travel-based bags as we expand.
Awesome. So can you just tell us a little about the founding of Brevity, of why did you decide to go with camera bags, and why did you decide to use social media as one of your primary channel for promotion?
Yeah, absolutely. So the camera bag was more just, I guess the whole founding of Brevity really happened as I was trying to find a bag that I could use for school as well as for my camera, and one thing like that bag didn't exist. So I approached my brother, who was looking to get into product design at the time, and we came up with the bag we launched with our Kickstarter. As for social media, we really just found that as we were building an audience to launch this bag too, we found that we were having like really meaningful insights and really meaningful interactions on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So we really have focused since on really building those networks and really building those followings. So we have a much larger audience today than we did when we launched.
Can you just give us a rough idea about the audience size you have on Facebook and also other social media right now?
So it'd probably be 40,000 people, I would say. Probably more, maybe 50,000. Just over all platforms, all social media, I would say it's probably about in between 40 and 50,000.
Oh wow, that's really impressive. That's a lot of followings that you see. So
yeah, it's really weird to think about those, like when you distill it down to like individual people.
I see. So can you just give us a rough idea about? I understand that most of your traffic are from Facebook and Instagram. So can you also just give us a rough idea about like the traffic mix or digital marketing mix that you're using to engage your audience right now?
Yeah. So a huge thing that we focus on is really producing, first and foremost, like very quality content. So we spend a lot of time either taking photos or inspiring others to take photos. So what's been phenomenal is that our user-generated content has been very, very high. So we can take that from Instagram and really share it out over all of our platforms. And so that's been great because it keeps our reputation very high, keeps our brand very aspirational. And then in terms of Facebook, we do some digital marketing. So we're always testing new types of ads, and whether we're putting $1 a day towards it or $10 a day, we test it, we see if it works, we check out the Google Analytics, see what the bounce rate is, and then we're smooth sailing from there.
I see, cool. Let's talk more about Facebook, because that is a channel that you absolutely prevailed on. So, what made you become so successful in Facebook? What is your secret sauce for digital marketing on Facebook?
A lot of testing, a ton of testing. So we use a couple of softwares to really test our Facebook ads. One of them is a very common one, Ad Espresso. It allows you to test different types of creative, different types of captions, different types of audiences, so you can A/B test rapidly. So out of one ad set, you can test, I think it's up to 72 ads, which is insane. Which, granted, you'd have to have a much larger budget to really give it the funding it needs. But we're constantly testing. We're constantly using that type of platform to just test everything. And then we go into the Google Analytics. We see what has the lowest bounce rates or what has the highest conversion rates, and we go from there.
I see. So what did you find to be working? After all these testing, what kind of posts do you find the best results in for Brevity?
Well, it's interesting because I think you have to distance yourself from the branding of it. So we have we focus a lot on our brand, but I think in terms of Facebook and Facebook advertising, because there's so much out there, you kind of have to stand out or really put a lot into the photos. How many stock photos a day do you see on Facebook, right? Hundreds of them, just because they're easy, they're convenient, but really having something that sticks out has been incredibly helpful for us. Also having very convincing copy, right? People don't want to be sold on clickbait. They want to be sold on a genuine product. So we're currently working on getting our copy better and testing out many different types of copy. But that's something that we found is a huge separator. No one wants to see the best bag ever. They want to see what it does immediately. So
it also helps a lot. It also helps a lot with the fact that you're a master cameraman. So I actually want my profile picture I've been using until today is made by Dylan during BFA training camp.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I guess being a camera master works as well, or it works great magic in posting on Facebook.
A lot. It saves certainly we don't have to go far to get those good photos, and I think that's been something that's great. A lot of photos are even just taken on my bedroom floor or in my living room. They're nothing my backyard, nothing terribly fancy. They're just to get the job done. So usually if I have an idea, I'll try and just go out somewhere, really snap a minimum viable thing, and then just test it.
Awesome. So, do you spend any money? You mentioned a little bit about you spend some money on Facebook in terms of doing digital advertising. Can you just expand a little bit on that?
Yeah. So we'll, I guess without getting into too much, we'll spend a very minimal amount. So for probably about, I would say a year, we spent less than $5 a day on Facebook advertising. Our whole concept, and I know I've talked about this with you on the phone before, but there was this article we read where this guy was talking about how you could spend more on a cup of coffee than you can on Facebook ads, which kind of blew my mind because I drink coffee every day, or used to. I don't anymore, but that's a different story. And I was kind of blown away by that fact. I was like, wow, you can spend $3 a day on your business and reach a very small amount of people, but people nonetheless. And that can be new orders for you and whatnot. Since we saw a really good return just spending those $3, so we're what happens if we spend $10? And then we kind of went up from there. And then we started testing more to make that ad set better. And so now we just are testing all the time. I mean, that's a huge thing for us, and then as we kind of grow and expand to different platforms, we'll start testing on those, so primarily right now we just do Facebook, which in turn also does Instagram ads, and we're seeing pretty good returns from both. So
that's cool. That's really awesome. Like from this conversation, all I've been hearing is testing, which is very crucial and important for people out there to understand, because when you're posting a Facebook post, it never works in the first time. You always need to adjust it. And then there are like a lot of good tools like Espresso, Google Analytics, and how good does that. And a lot of people actually, like I talk to a lot of people, a lot of people actually realize that they can do that. And so for those who are watching out there, testing is crucial. Like you need to have key metrics, and you have all the metrics in mind, and you need to do like probably like Dylan says 70 copies. Like I think 70 is even little. You need to probably do like 100, 200 testing to land on one that actually works.
Absolutely, and it takes time too, right? Like it's not like because with Facebook it's weird because you'll see like these weird fluctuations. So it takes probably about like 5 to 7 days to actually get like an accurate pulse on whether the ad set's successful, and then you can go into your Google Analytics and check all those stats that you can easily figure out with the Humalytics tool, which is awesome, by the way. Love testing it, but yeah, it's a big thing, and definitely seeing if things work in your Google Analytics is a big part that no one really talks about. Like you can have a great digital ad, you can get a great, so you want a high click-through rate and then like a low cost per click, and like you can get that, but if the quality of that traffic is very low, then it's completely useless. So I think that's something that we've very much focused on.
So let's talk a little bit about, I guess, our love-hate relationship with Facebook. Because right before this, you were telling me that it's actually much more difficult to advertise on Facebook and build a great presence now. Why is that? Tell us more.
Well, I think to build a following on Facebook is very difficult because they want you to pay. Like when you go into the ad editor, there's literally like you can create ads to get likes on your page, right? So growing, I guess kind of this organic following has become like almost impossible. It just doesn't exist. So like a tool we used was we ran some giveaways, and we had people follow us on our social platform. And it's great because those people stuck around, and like we've done different marketing endeavors and things like that. But it's very hard, and it's expensive. I think there's something where it's like 20 cents per like or something like that. It might even be more, but it's not. If you can have that traffic, just go to your website. I mean, at this point, we're so small that it's more beneficial for that.
I see. So, given this entire Facebook thing Facebook essentially becoming like an advertisement and soup police, that unless you pay, it does not give you soup and does not give you any presence. What would you recommend in terms of like if someone wants to start with like a social media channel right now and try to reach their audiences? What would you recommend them doing if they don't have a large budget?
I mean, I would say live video. I mean, look at, right, like if you're active on Instagram or Facebook, I mean, especially Instagram. Instagram's like really pushing this live video. I mean, say you have a following of 200 people. When you start a live video, 200 people get a notification, and that's like pretty powerful. Even if not a lot of them tune in, they're still getting a notification, and that's something that with live video we're really trying to explore, like how we can use that and leverage it, because clearly that's where the world is trending. Like you have these massive platforms like Twitch. I mean, obviously we're over YouTube right now on live video. Like it's incredible. And then I would say like even like Instagram story ads. I don't know. Whenever these new features come out, like they tend to be pretty lenient on either the ads, kind of the ad space for them, the cost per the ad, things like that. Even if you don't have money for an ad, I would just say just like be active. We found that Instagram with a photography accessory was great because Instagram's photo based, or with a lot of SaaS companies, I know they're very active on Twitter. So it's kind of like finding your social network and then like actually having genuine interaction, because that's free, and then also live video, because I think having push notifications to your phone is pretty powerful.
So have you guys tried anything out in live video at Brevity yet?
Not yet. We have some really, really cool ideas, but not yet, So we're hoping for this summer we're gonna have some really cool stuff lined up.
Yeah, I found like we're doing. Obviously, this is like round 10 for us to do like live video presence for our audiences. Also, like converting to YouTube. We found that it's like it's all about finding your niche, right? It's difficult to find something. I think one thing that I really like was a term from Seth Godin, which is like the grandfather of digital marketing. He says something: you need to be remarkable in whatever you're doing, and by remarkable, it means that it's worth to be remarked. So, like his example would be that if you drive down the highway and you see a cow, you will not say anything because it's a cow. But if the cow is purple, you will say something to your friend. Hey, I see a purple cow, and that's something that's remarkable, and that's something that's like we're trying to figure out as well. And I think as you iterate like repeatedly during this interview, like it's all about testing. Like the way you make it remarkable is first you really understand your audiences, like you guys obviously do with Brevity, especially with like only 1 or 2 camera backpacks that really capture the heart of people who are really interested to have this need because it's need of yourself as well, and then push them with great content that are very well made. For example, like your cameramanship is amazing, and you have like very beautiful images and pictures to show them and resonate with them, and then repeatedly testing, just test repeatedly until like 100, 200, 300 times until you see things working. Never expect that digital marketing to be a silver bullet that can solve all your problems, but something that you do repeatedly that will work progressively over time. And like you are like a great example of this from like everything.
I think a huge part of it is it's just a piece, right? Like it's a pretty big piece, don't get me wrong, and like it's definitely worth the time, absolutely, but it is just a piece, right? Like you have to have like an idea of your brand. I would say like these are the conversations that are much more important, is like know your branding, know who you're targeting, know who you're trying to get to use your product, like these kind of questions, right? And then when you hit them with the Facebook ad and they go to your website, once when they're on your website, it's clean. Obviously there's very easy solutions out there like Squarespace and things like that, where like very plug and play, and you can create these pretty beautiful websites pretty quickly. And then so once they get to your website, they're attracted to stay there, and then hopefully buy your product, and then hopefully you're retargeting them so they get some sort of Facebook ads after that. But like their whole experience with your brand is on point, is a good experience, because digital marketing can help get them in the door, but I mean then it's kind of up to you to keep them there or to help them buy the product. So that's a lot of what we focus on. Absolutely.
Have a good product first and be super genuine to your audiences instead of like one thing I really dislike about the now digital marketing world is that there are a lot of like silver bullet solutions. Just be that if you run this promotion, you will be able to be very successful. If you have these tips on social media, like if you post like this, post videos, post tags, and post things like that, you'll be successful. But at the end of the day, it's all about having good content, having genuine conversation with your audience, and having a good product that really serves people. I think like one thing that we really want to do at Humalytics is to go down to the base. We're struggling with this, to be honest. Like I'm just completely honest with you as well. It's just to be very honest about what digital marketing is and it's not. I would talk to people, talk like my client. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, digital marketing is this great thing. We tried running one ad or like a 1 month hour cycle and they didn't work out, so we just gave it up altogether." I'm just like, this is not how it works. What it works is half a year to a year. It's more persistence.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I mean, everything's about persistence as well. I mean, something that we take also very seriously is really keeping the engagement up on our social platforms. So I would say Instagram is our largest following and are definitely our most active. And, and like we get very good engagement, for like the size of our following. I would say it's very genuine. We have a lot of conversations over there, and I would rather have that than a large following with incredibly low engagement, right? Like I'd rather post a photo and have 1,000 people see it than post a photo and have like 30 people see it, So that's something that we've grown very slowly and just very deliberately. So we have an audience, we're not, there's no, right, like you were saying earlier, there's no silver bullet solution. right? It's being kind of slow and methodical and really figuring it out, right? And kind of piecing together this journey for your customer.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you very much, Dylan, for being
absolutely.
involved. This is a great conversation. I really hope it's recorded. The recording's working because this is probably one of the best interviews we've had so far.
Dude,
so
you want me to
thank you so much for sharing all these with us today. And for those of you who are watching this, the transcript of this are going to be up tomorrow live on Medium, and we're also going to post the recording of this video live for more people to see this, because I think, reiterate, testing, persistent, being genuine, and that's the way of social media. Thank you so much, Dylan, for being
absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Bill.
Yep, thank you. See ya.
Bye.
Yep.
Well,